Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel for Sunday night. Andy, the Gabby Cabby, here with you again live at our usual slot, 9 o'clock on a Sunday. Hope everyone's doing all right. Hope you've had a good weekend. I see plenty of people in the chat already, a lot of the regulars, and it's good to see everybody. If I can ask you, if you haven't done so, make sure you hit the thumbs up already. Help the algorithm spread things around. Just a quick few hellos to some regulars here. Blue Angel, Gary Thornbury, Reform BBC, Michael Hancock, a new subscriber here. Amy, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Jackie, will be my first time here for a live. Looking forward to chatting. Good to see you. Thank you. Blue Angel, Minge Pump. Oh, my God. Play apps. Wow, Andy, you were up against help. I'm a celebrity today. If anyone knows if Nigel wins, let me know. Let's have that live while we're on here. Chris Card, hello to you. Sylvia Spatman, Bar Brady. Now that's Richie. Good to see you, my friend. Jason Hughes. Ryan's in the house. Good to see you as well. And all the regular people. That's great. Great. Just a quick scroll down the list. Now, a few things to talk about. We'll come to some comments very shortly. There's some information that I want to go through with you all. And we will start with, let me see, this one. This is a picture of me and my lovely wife. On the 7th of December, it was her birthday, and I decided to put this picture online and say, happy birthday, Mrs. Cabby. And I got so many wonderful comments from everybody. I just wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate them all. And for a change, no one told me I was punching above my weight, unless I actually missed it. I mean, she loves them comments. She really does. There was something like 2,000 likes on that very picture. It is brilliant. Hello, Russ. Good to see you. I'm glad that you're along. Russ is one of my friends on YouTube. Did an interview / live stream of him last week. If you haven't done so already, please go and subscribe to Russ. It's good to see his channel going in the right direction again. And he does some great interviews. Now, a bit later on, I'm going to tell you about this as well, a giveaway, which I intend to do between, now and probably the end of next week. I'll give you the full details on that later on. So please stay connected, and I'll let you know what that's about. Now, I'll just have a quick look at a couple of the comments, and then I'll go on to the next item that needs discussing. Reform BBC, hi, Andy. Just want to say thanks for the shout-out to help my channel, and Russ too. Thanks, Inspector C. You're very welcome. Another useful channel to do with the downfall of the BBC and the dreaded TV tax. So go and have a look at that. Anna Perkins, evening, Andy. Maybe not for direct discussion tonight, but you might be interested to take a look at Richard Vobes' his very unfortunate encounter with debt collectors. I'm very well aware of what's gone on there, Anna, and I'm going to mention that briefly this evening. And there's a fuller video coming out on that tomorrow. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And I'm even tempted to reach out to Richard directly myself and see if there's something we can do together. But let's talk about that right now. Now, just a show of hands here. Has anybody ever had any problem with a bailiff turning up at your door saying, give me X amount of pounds or I'm going to take something valuable? Give me a 1 in the chat if you've actually had that. Morris's monkey. Yeah, Richard was very ill, surrounded by tyrants. That's exactly what they were. Selena Stewart, no. Pete's had it. Blue Angels are 2. Ones. So a few of you have had this by the looks of it. 1664 for Lord Jim Dandy. Yeah, it starts with letters. I mean, Jackie said letters. Somebody close to me is experiencing an issue at the moment. And, it all starts with letters and then goes from there. Now, just in brief, I had a bit of an issue some years ago before I met my wife, before I got together or anything like this. I got a new job, which came with a company car. And what happened, I was driving an old scrappy R-Reg Ford Mondeo at the time, which needed getting rid of. I moved it out on the road on the first day of my job, went down the road and gave the keys to my dad and said, can you keep an ear out for the scrappies, because they're going to come around, take the car, and off they go. Now, it's a bit of a thing, because he turned up later and told me that the people had been round and clamped my car, and it was a DVLA that had clamped it because of no road tax. Anyway, I got told at the time, don't worry about it. If you don't want the car, don't take any action. It'll just get scrapped, which is what it was going to do anyway. Years later, I mean, years and years later, I end up with a bailiff on the door saying to me, you know, you owe us money from unpaid tax, unpaid road tax from years before. I said, what? And it got bad, and I had this lunatic on the doorstep demanding money and threatening and everything else. And I had to go to court to get a piece of paper to get it all dealt with. But with Richard, you know, there comes a problem, which I'll address in one moment. There's a lady here called Selena Stewart who has sent the same message about 3 or 4 times in capital letters to make sure I see it. Simply says what happened to Camber Sands. Camber Sands and Prestatyn, Selena, were closed without any warning whatsoever. What actually happened, all of the people that worked there were told you were out of a job. It was shut without any warning, and it was down to no business, or a very big decline in business. And we have to wonder, is it truth? Is it dare? Is something else going to happen? What's it all about? You know, I'm keeping an eye on that situation, and I think me and possibly Russ might leave a bit of time and then go and have a look. But that is an unfolding story. Now, yes, Richard Vobes had a bailiff at his door on Wednesday. He's poorly, needs to be near the toilet, and the bloke was going to take his van away. Yes, let's talk about that right now. Let me find the right screen. Yeah, Richard, and you can see the video on his channel. Now, if my memory is correct, I've left a link to it in the description for this live stream. Put this video up. They came for me, and it was a picture of him, which looks like it's outside his property, and that's his van there, and the police, and a bailiff, and Richard. Now, I really felt for Richard, because in the video, he visibly looked unwell. He visibly looked shaken, and it was, you know, quite a big ordeal for him. It was involving some kind of issue with a charge of some description, which elevated to the stage that he was getting letters. Now, from my understanding, the letters were not addressed to him, or they were sent to his address, but his name was actually wrong. It was a variation of the name. So he you know, did the right thing and didn't open them, and one thing led to another, and you know, he gets these people turning up at his house. Now, they tried to take his van, and caused an awful lot of stress. They beat him down to the point where he actually paid them a sum of money. They drove off and then rang him later on to say that they would be cancelling the payments because the incorrect amount was paid and he needed to deal with the office. So it's still ongoing. Now, it's kind of spurred Richard into taking action, because he believes, you know, people should not be treated like this. People will not be treated like this. They shouldn't be. There's vulnerable people out there, and they should have some kind of support and somewhere to go to. It really is a disgraceful situation and shouldn't have been allowed to happen. All the best to Richard, and I hope he feels better soon. Now, the source of his current illness, he's trying to find out what that is, but we'll see. Yeah, Anna, they took 500 quid twice, and it had to be reversed. That's correct. I think 500 was the original amount they wanted, wasn't it? And then they ended up taking it twice because there was some kind of payment issue, and then cancelled it after causing him a great deal of distress and everything else. It really is disgusting. And as I said, I'm going to contact Richard directly because I believe that, you know, something should be done as he is. If I can assist in that, I will. I will. Now, let's go back and have a look at a couple more comments, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Michael, I wonder if Mr. KS is mystery Austrian winner of Euro Millions. Just a thought. Well, he'd better spend it wisely, hadn't he? If he doesn't. Yeah, not good, that one. Not good. Gary, BLM came to my town to destroy a statue. They were confronted, and TLPLD that they had a choice: leave the town or be shot. They left town. Yes, that's a firm hand you got to take with it. You know, it's a bit like Just Stop Oil, and I've actually got a certificate sent to me from where I wound up Just Stop Oil. They need dealing with a firm hand, and then they'll stop. They're running riot because they get away with it. Hi, Mum. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're all okay and sorted out the thing that we were talking about earlier with your messages. Angelica, have seen that London bus drivers are talking about going on strike because of the low traffic, because they've put too many cycle lanes in? It's all over the place. I don't know how many Londoners there are in the chat, but, you know, any experience I've had lately of going up to London, they're sticking this stuff in everywhere. It's ridiculous. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. And my Uncle Gary's in the house. Good to see you as well. That's Gary Reynolds. Ian Smith, the police should be impartial. Yeah, well, they're not, are they? And we've seen a lot of that lately, particularly in the London area. Now, the next subject. Let me see. Right. This is an interesting picture. This was taken from a video of an incident that happened at Bristol Airport earlier on today. You can see some big black plumes of smoke in the background there. There was a fire in one of the car parks there, and it did some serious damage to something like 11 other vehicles. Now, what people are asking is, was it an EV? You know, the news isn't making that very clear, but was it an EV that started it? Or was it a normal car, or was it something else? The news is actually reporting it as an accidental ignition and not being very clear on it, but 11 cars. Now, the car park that went up, it was an outdoor car park, open air. So, you know, the physical infrastructure damage that we saw at Luton Airport won't be the same because it was open air, and they managed to get it all out by somewhere around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But hello, Julie. Good to see you. That's all right. You're here. That's the main thing. They put it out by 12 o'clock. Now, Chris Card has just said, still no word on Luton Airport. No, there isn't. And we're seeing reports, and we're seeing examples of all of the insurance premiums going up and all of that sort of thing. It really is not a good situation, especially if you're an EV driver. It really is quite bad. Let me know in the chat when you did you know about this? Give me a 1 if you thought immediately it was an EV, or 2 if you were open-minded. So 1 if it was an EV, 2 if you're open-minded. Yeah, majority of you are thinking, or your first thought is, it's an EV. You know, you naturally jump to that conclusion. Declan, late for class. Yeah, all of you are saying ones. So, you know, they can deny and move around it as much as they like. I've got a fuller video coming out on this tomorrow with a little bit more information, and you can watch that then. And, you know, as somebody rightly said, there's still no information on Luton Airport either. Nothing at all. It's like they're trying to cover things up. Now, with Luton Airport at the time, I saw various versions of events saying it was an EV. It wasn't an EV. It was a Range Rover. It wasn't a Range Rover. This was a registration mark. This wasn't a lot of, misinformation going around. Jason Hughes, EV until proven otherwise. Yeah, absolutely. Right, another couple of comments, then we'll move on to the next section. Anna Perkins, those selected as debt collectors by these debt purchasing companies, as opposed to the original debt owners, are a very special low breed of human being. I couldn't agree more, Anna. I mean, I work with a guy who runs an airport transfer company, and he used to do this job, going around people's houses and getting a hold of their money, all their assets, if they weren't going to pay up. And some of the horror stories he told me were absolutely terrible. Really were. You know, some of the conduct of these individuals. Now, the lines are often blurred with what power they have. And somebody, I suppose, like the Black Belt barrister could, fill you in more. And I've actually had email communication with him last couple of days. I'll tell you about that shortly. There are those that come from debt buyers, I think, that try to be a bit heavy-handed. And then there's the official stuff with the official court papers and, court-appointed sheriffs and all the rest of it. There's two totally different kettles of fish, but a lot of it is intimidation and bullying. And, people need to be armed with the knowledge to be able to do something about it. And more often than not, they're not. And it can lead to people being in harm's way. Jim Winter, it was intimidating and bullying, and I don't think they should have treated him that way. I think he should sue them. I mean, one of the things that I'm led to understand is you cannot levy distress, as it's called, on a vulnerable individual. Now, if he was ill, if he was in a deprived physical condition, as far as I'm concerned, he's a vulnerable person, vulnerable individual. They should have left him be. And look what they did. Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Right. The next one. Yeah, I ran a poll over the last couple of days because I've been watching the viewing figures on my YouTube videos. And some days they do very, very well. Some days they do very, very bad. And it interests me as to what entices somebody to click on a YouTube video. There's several components. There's a title, there's a thumbnail, and the obvious content and the creator itself. And I wanted to know what people thought. So I did this poll, which received 2,623 votes. What entices you to click on a YouTube video? The thumbnail, the title, both, or something else? Now, you can see there 59% of that 2,600 votes said they consider both when they're looking for a video to watch, which I found very interesting because there's different schools of thought to do with the creation of YouTube videos, and it was interesting to see what people's points of view were on it. Now, when you, let's have a live look at this as well. When you look at a YouTube video, tell me if you look at the title. Give me a 1 if you look at the title, or a 2 if you look at both, just so we can see, the general opinion here. So a 1 for the title or 2 for both. Yeah, very valid point, Julie. Race to 100 likes. Please make sure you hit that like button. And welcome everybody that's just joined us. I think my comments have... right, yes. I know why. I'm looking at the wrong bit. 2, 2. Yeah, a few of you are all saying twos, so you look at both. Yeah, I've been having some problems over the last couple of days, which I'll talk about shortly, Lee. YouTube make it up. Seen videos with 44,000 thumbs up and 4,000 views, comments deleted, no notification. Absolutely. I mean, there's a strange thing going on with the lives at the moment as well. I mean, I've got 204 people watching this live right now. And when I stop the live in, well, 30 or 40 minutes from now, what will happen? It will tell me that I've only got something like 20 views, but 150 thumbs up. It's how it catches up with itself. The algorithm is not perfect at all. That's how I found your YouTube channel. The title. Okay, all right. Thanks for that. There was another one as well saying that surf. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos from Facebook. Yeah, that happens. I'm starting to put a little bit more on Facebook now, like a daily vlog and one of the videos that I put on here just to try and build that up. And I've got something like 12,000 likes on Facebook, so quite pleased with that, and that's continuing to grow. Who on here uses social media, Facebook, Twitter, or anything like that? I know there are a lot of people that are anti those platforms, and some do. Give me a 1 if you're on one of the other social media platforms, or a 2 if you're not. Asking for lots of 1s and 2s tonight. Andy's on both. Who else have we got here? Packed in Facebook years ago. A lot of people have. A lot of people have been booted off. 2s, 1s, 2s. There's a fair few 2s there. Jim Winter first discovered me when I was talking about the ULEZ. Well, there you go, huh? Absolutely brilliant. 2, I left Twitter. I have Facebook, but do not usually look. Jackie says, bit of a mixed bag there. I mean, the majority of the time I am on YouTube. This is where you'll find me the majority of the time. But it's always good to, spread it out a little bit. Hence, I go on Facebook as well. Sharpie says, I saw your funny face and clicked on it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Chris Card, yes, I have heard that before, actually. Right. Speaking of YouTube, I have a little bit of a problem, which I want to talk to you about. Before I do, does anybody in the chat right now have their own YouTube channel that they actively put content on? So give me a 1 if you're an active YouTuber, because if you are, this will affect you very much. Yeah, Peter, the unsubscription bug, that happens a fair lot. Keep getting unsubscribed from your channel and a few others. You've got to be mindful of that and keep an eye on it. A lot of 2s, but some 1s. I'm not that famous. Nice one, Declan. Right. I had a problem with YouTube, which came to light yesterday. Before I tell you about that, can I just welcome everybody to the chat if you've just joined us. This is the Sunday chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Thank you very much for your support, your subscriptions and everything else. Can I ask if you are here? Give it the thumbs up. Helps the algorithm push this around everywhere. And it's good because with that comes new subscribers and new traffic. Send the heavies round, Andy. Absolutely. Right. I was out with the family yesterday. We're having a day. And I got a message from another YouTuber. I won't identify them because, it's a private conversation. They may identify themselves if they're listening. And they said to me, Andy, check your AdSense because I've just had a sum of money removed from my earnings for November. Now, if you're a monetized channel, what tends to happen? Let's take November. The earnings that you get from the videos tot up, and then at a point in November, they will then finalize those earnings, and you will be paid them in December. So it always works a month in arrears. When I saw this comment from this other YouTuber, I thought to myself, So I had a look, and the same things happened to me. I've had an amount of money deducted from my estimated earnings from November. I was expecting an amount of money, and I'm going to end up with considerably less. So that's 2 YouTubers it happened to. Now, I looked into this, and I contacted YouTube, and I said, "Oi, what's this about? You've just taken a load of my cash, and I'm not the only one." Just to point something out here, Lee Redpath only got 485 subs. Get your channel known, Lee. Stick a link or the name of it in here, and we'll see if some people can help you tonight. Let's try and get you to at least 500. That's only 15, isn't it? So let's see if we can do that. Yeah, I got in touch with YouTube, and I said, "What's going on? You've taken my money," and no explanation. And YouTube said to me that my channel is receiving views from what they call unauthorized or unlawful sources. I said to them, "Well, what do you mean unlawful sources? What's going on?" And they said it's if you buy traffic or you put a video on a bot website to drive unlawful traffic to your channel, those sorts of things. We adjust the viewing and revenue figures accordingly to maintain the integrity of the platform. And I turned around to them and I said, "Well, that's a little bit funny, that one, because you've mentioned 2 things I don't do, I never have done, and I never will do for that reason." There are YouTubers out there that buy thousands of subscribers on the quiet, making themselves look big, and possibly thousands of views as well. It doesn't work. It's not worth it, because you will be found out, and that's what I'm being accused of. Now, Butts Unplugged, yes, that's what I'm getting to. The same thing happened to some YouTubers about a year or so ago. When I looked into this, YouTube said to me that they can't tell me where this unlawful traffic is coming from. So I said, "Well, if you can't tell me, then you can't take my money. That's not how it works. You need to justify taking my money." No, they just wouldn't budge on it. So I said, "Well, where's it coming from?" They wouldn't tell me. So it's a problem I can't fix, because I don't know where it's coming from. Theo Bovril, yes, I've heard that comment in many places. Now, when I did a search of this on YouTube, there's videos going back about 6 months to a year where this is a problem that's coming up again and again, and it's not been fixed. So the more people that can raise awareness of this, the better, in my view. Now, if there's any people in here that are YouTubers and take this seriously, I'm going to show you a couple of screens. In the back end of your YouTube channel, you have something called the YouTube Studio. It tells you everything about your channel: your likes, your comments, your views, where they've come from, what page they've cleared. It's so powerful. And I looked over my figures for the last 3 months. Now, if we look at October, this is a small cross section of the views from October. It's not all of them. It's just, the relevant section. And at the bottom there, you can see something called YouTube advertising, 2,098 views. Now, that is in October. Now, if you have YouTube advertising listed, it means one thing. It means that I've paid YouTube to advertise my videos. I've never done that. So who has? Somebody somewhere. Is that an unlawful traffic source? or is it somebody else playing silly buggers with my content? I know for a fact that somebody set up, I think it's a BitChute account and also an account on TikTok, and they're making copies of my videos on there, probably making money off of them. Nothing I can do to stop them. Is that an unlawful source? It's a big problem. It's a big problem. November, very tiny, but you can see there it says direct or unknown, 15,289 views. So a bit of a sizable problem that month. And then we come to December, you've got direct or unknown, 2,564 views. So that is this month. So what they're basically saying to me, or they're implying, is when they come to pay me in January, does that mean that my earnings will be less? Because I've got unlawful views, which they apparently can't tell me anything about where it's come from. You see the dilemma, you see the quandary. Now, the problem we have is that some measurements I've seen, it's decreased people's revenue by as much as 90%. 90%. So, in effect, if that happened, I would have to double my video output just to make the same money if they're going to take a load of it. It really is awful. It really is awful. Andy, I pay YouTube Premium, and when I watch channels, they are advertising. Gonna need to get on to them. Yeah, I've had 2 conversations. I had a stand-up blazing row with them, and then I took a more measured approach once I looked at the data and did the research. And in both cases, they will not budge. Yeah, I have actually seen a lot of information on this, and it is a problem that betters itself. I think is the best way of describing it. It actually gets better. So we'll see what happens. I mean, what I will get this month is still okay. It could have been better, but it's still okay. We'll have to see what happens a month after that. But my advice to anybody who wants to rely on YouTube as a full-time income, don't. Unless you go viral and you make millions and millions and millions of dollars like the Mr. Beast of this world, don't rely on it as a sole source of income, because at the end of the day, you don't have the full control. You know, you just plug away, do what you can, and, you know, keep your fingers crossed that Lady Luck will be with you all the time. I mean, I bloody love doing this. You know, I get to meet all you people. I get to say what I think on a daily basis and, you know, have fun doing it. But unfortunately, it ain't, you know, you don't have the control over it. Now, back to some of the comments. I mentioned at the beginning about a giveaway, which I will come to in a short time. I'll just give you a bit of time going through some of your remarks. Ian Williamson had 2 NIPs from West Yorkshire Police for speeding on the M1. I don't drive, never have, and eventually had to write to the Chief Constable to have them withdrawn. My address, but not my name. What happened, Ian? Did somebody buy a car and register it as your address, maybe? I don't get that, or some kind of other fraud, but that's a really gigantic big cock up, isn't it? And incompetence, I think is the word. Blatant incompetence. Amy, bailiffs are scum. My mum is a single parent. Years back, they knocked on our door when mum was out. I was a teen back then. Totally scared me. They're big, they're intimidating, and they're horrible people to deal with. That is very, very much the case. I mean, when I had a trouble with a bailiff, I called him back to my house. I wanted to talk to him. I had a piece of paper from the court which said, "Fuck off, bailiff." He didn't like me very much after that, I tell you. But, you know, we need the knowledge. We need the knowledge. Donatus, hello, everyone from Lagos, Nigeria. Wow, welcome. Thank you for joining the channel. Good to see you. It's nice to see we're getting that reach. Lucinda, do you have any kind of fun these days? I try. I went 10-pin bowling. earlier on, and I lost. I got absolutely beaten. In fact, I won't be able to get it. Well, I'll try. Let's see if I can get this up. This will give you all a laugh at how crap my bowling is. Nope, I don't think my phone's going to play ball. I can't share that over. So, oh no, it's done it. Right, so let's get this up here. I took my kids 10-pin bowling this afternoon because my wife went out to her friends. So I thought, Jack was bored, and I thought I'd take them bowling because it's something they enjoy doing. And this is embarrassing, to say the least. This was the score. 105 was my eldest son, Lewis. 77 was Jack, and 57 was me. Now, when I saw that, my immediate thought was, Andy, don't give up your day job. I've never been any damn good at that sport, and I probably never will be. So there you go. Angelica, I have a laugh. My car is registered as disabled and can't be taken away when they have told that they're going to take my car away. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I'm sure that comes under levying distress on vulnerable people, doesn't it? Tony Whitworth, 2 girls, finally been arrested for a hate attack on a woman who was kicked and stamped. Carnes Met and Sly News are calling it a robbery. Leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? Really does. Strong rumours about Labour secretly planning measures to enable councils to force householders with more than one spare bedroom to take on Labour's way of sorting it. Yeah, I heard about that earlier, Tony, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. I wouldn't put anything past them, to be honest. Tony, net zero policies will result in mass starvation. And if we ban fossil fuels, agriculture production would collapse. People will begin to starve or die, Patra. Yeah, they can't do it. It's impossible. What have we got to do? Stop breathing? That's the way of it. Mark and Janice, hi Andy. Sorry we're late today. I think someone may have poisoned Richard Vobes. He had that suspicion himself, didn't he? Or eaten something that doesn't agree with him. He said he was feeling a little better, so that's good. Bridget, I'm at 333. Any chance of a boost from your subs, Andy? There very much is, Bridget. 333 subscribers. I'd like to see you on 500 as well. BCTV, a different videographer with opinions. If anyone hasn't, if Blood, you could stick the URL to her channel in the chat. Go and subscribe to her also. Let's try and help her out a bit. There it is. Thank you very much. That's the thing with this YouTube journey. You get to speak to and get to be on friendly terms with a lot of people over time. It's quite interesting and all over the place as well. The Manchester Man. Hello, Andy. Hope you and your family are well. We certainly are. Thank you very much. It's getting near that time of year again, Christmas, where we've got to get everything sorted out. Now, speaking of Christmas, actually, later on in the month, I tend to have a few days off. I haven't decided how I'm going to play things yet or what I'm going to do, but I will let you know. Generally, I pre-record a couple of things to come out Christmas Day, and we'll see what happens in between. I'll be about. Tony, in other news, it's that windy where I am. I've now got to go to the neighbours 2 doors down to ask the kids' trampoline back. Oh my God. If that wasn't so crazy, I could believe it. I remember a video once. No, it's a photograph actually, where a friend of mine was laughing his head off. My friend had put a shed up and it jumped in the air and landed on a fence. It's the most obscene thing I've ever seen. But it's amazing what gets blown about. Deirdre, could unknown viewers be people that use a VPN to protect their accounts? As YouTube possibly? That's a very, very good point, that Deirdre. Actually, that's one thing I didn't think of. Show of hands. Does anyone use a VPN? Give me a 1 if you use a VPN, and 2 if you don't. Don't worry, I won't tell. Just be interesting. There's a few of you there that do. 222. Everything works on the basis of an IP address online. And obviously, a VPN masks your IP address by routing it elsewhere. So it could cause some problems. You never know. Yeah, there's a bit more information there. So could be a factor. Could be. Not one I thought of. We'll have to see. David, not VPN, but really good ad blocker, which means I watch anonymously. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Tony, why did King Charles give food manufacturers the right not to label what's now in their food products? I've been hearing about that. I have. Tony, don't believe everything you hear. There's always 3 sides of a story. Yours isn't the truth. Absolutely. I mean, that's what they say about the conspiracy theorists, isn't it? Crackpots, all of them. And then eventually what they were saying 6 months ago turns out to be the truth. No longer crackpots. Paul, if the government loses on Tuesday, do you think Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will call a snap election? It's getting to that point, isn't it, Paul? They're looking really, really sad now. But what worries me is what comes in their place. That's the issue. What comes in their place? We get a Labour government, 2 cheeks at the same arsehole, in my view. I think the entire thing needs throwing out, and I think something different needs to happen very, very rapidly. There's lots of conjecture. There's lots of thought about this in the media, isn't there? And I'd see what happens. But unfortunately, there's a big generation of people in this country that don't know to vote for any other way. And this merry-go-round of bullshit will continue forevermore until somebody says stop, for want of a better phrase, really. Vote reform. Now that's Richie. The only thing that worries me with reform, and I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment, is the amount of kissing arse of Tory politicians trying to get them to come across. I think it needs to be Joe Public. I think it needs to be a completely clean slate. I think all that self-privileged, self-entitled lot need to get the hell out of there, and we need something new to happen. That's what I think. Under a genuine reform banner, it's awful. Hard Tulip, I miss communist East Germany, forced financial equality, police state society. My old man was stationed in Germany during the mid-60s, if my maths are right, mid to late 60s. And he's told me some stories about East and West and the wall and all that sort of thing. Interesting stuff. My middle name is Mass. Christmas. Nice one. That took me a second. Jackie had 2 envelopes from charities in a letterbox asking for the money for an Xmas meal for the homeless. I just think, what about the rest of the year? The other thing that worries me about these charities as well, Jackie, is how much money is the chief executive getting? How much? That's the worry as well. Now we're on to the part of charity, food or money from other sources. I want to tell you about this. I put this up at the beginning of the live stream. Now, I did something last year because I do all this work all year, and you come on here, you support me, you watch my stuff, and it's very much appreciated, all of it. And I want to give something back. So I'm going to do the same thing this year that I did last year. I'm going to be giving away the result to be announced at the end of the week, a £100 shopping voucher to somebody who needs it. And last year, I was approached by a subscriber whose wife had a friend who was on hard times, couldn't afford it really. So I gave them the £100 shopping voucher, and it was passed on to them. So we actually did some good. Now, this year, what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to put a community post out with a question, multiple choice question, which you have to answer, and you have to subscribe to the channel. So I know you are a subscriber. Answer the question and say what shop you want it to be from, and I will pick a winner and announce it at the end of the week and get that sorted out for you. So that's a £100 shopping voucher coming to somebody, and I'll announce that at the end of the week. Yeah, no worries, Lee. And that'll go to somebody who is in need. And last year we were able to help. I mean, that's one of the magical things that we've been able to do with this channel. There's a few people in the background that I've been able to route help to or give assistance to when you might not necessarily know. And it's one of the benefits of doing this. It makes me feel good that I've helped somebody. Anyway, make sure you've hit the like button. And if you are new here for the first time and you like keeping up with news and chatting to people, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. There you go, Nottingham Pool. I've just taken your bloody comment off and blood put it on. What's going on? There we go. Yes, Andy, I won it last year, and a big thanks again. There we go. There's the very person that got the voucher, and it's very good to see a year later you're still here. Thank you very much for your support. Now, back to the comments. Mark and Janice, so-called right-wing populists are having success all over the globe. Brazil, Netherlands, Sweden. It will happen in France with Le Pen, and America if the vote is not tampered with. Do you think Trump will get back in again? Or do you think someone else will? Let me know what you think of that. Farage came third, Tony said. Is that news just in, is it? Tony, let me know. That's a shame. I was hoping he was going to win the thing just to do that to all the lefties. But he was never going to be allowed to win, I don't think. But third is pretty good. Yeah, you're all saying Trump. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Tony Whitworth, EVs. Amazon completely converts Sprinter fleet to diesel. Electric drive does not fit the service concept. Anybody got a spare field to store their EV stock? That will cost too much to dispose of. There was a council not so long ago that spent, well, I think a good £1 million or a few £1 million on a fleet of electric vehicles. They had to leave them in a field. It was a disgrace. There is a video on this channel somewhere about that. So go and have a look. Morris's Monkey, just a quick one. Does smart meter affect your Wi-Fi? I have no idea. I don't know that one. Morris's Monkey. I don't know whether it'd have to connect to that or not. Mad Spaniel. VPN makes me laugh. Do you really think that terrorists could use VPN to hide their activities? He. Yeah, Before I was a taxi driver, I worked in IT for a great number of years. And I worked in network installation, servers, routers, switches, cables, that sort of thing. And I was very adept at IP routing and all this kind of stuff. And VPNs or any other device on a network produces certain amounts of information. And if you know what you're looking at, you can examine what's called a routing table, and you can trace where certain traffic originates from. And, VPNs, I'm damn sure, while a bit more difficult, you could trace where certain traffic is coming from. So they're not entirely foolproof if you know what you're doing. UK skateboarding, we need someone like you running the show. Common sense, mate. Thanks for that. I appreciate the show's support. Who's this one? Vote for Larry the cat. We get more sense, wouldn't we? We'd certainly get more sense. Bar Brady, I want to go to Harrods Food Bank. I'll tell you what, years ago, I went to Harrods with a former girlfriend of mine, and we went in the cafe, and this was many, many years ago, probably 25 years ago now, something like that. And no, not quite 25 years ago, because I'm not 50 yet, maybe 20 years ago. And I wanted to buy his lunch. Nice one, Russ. Joe Biden wins. I'm a celebrity. Yeah, I wanted to buy his lunch, and they had this chicken tikka kebab. It looked delicious. Now, this is the days in London. You could go to London for a day out without having to watch over your back. That's a different time. This chicken tikka kebab was 18 quid. It must have been that big. I thought, my God. And some of the prices of stuff. Only time I've ever been to Harrods, and I won't be going back anytime soon. Lord Jim Dandy, fill the Sainsbury's bag. What, and send it to somebody? Maybe. Yeah, that's an idea for another time, isn't it? Jim Winter, if Trump gets back in, Ukraine is definitely. Yeah, he wouldn't put up with any crap, would he? That'll be gone. History, straight away. Anna, Biden's term is Obama's. Totally agree. I mean, how can somebody with a mental capacity as diminished as that effectively run a country? So somebody has got to be pulling the strings in the background somewhere. Now, what I want to do very briefly is just run over a video that caused some confusion. Then I'll look at some other comments, and then we'll wind things up. Now, I want to play a video which I showed a few days ago. I'll just pull it up on the screen. I nearly forgot about this. This is all my YouTube shorts on my channel. I've started doing a few more of these, just brief little news snippets and everything else, just to fill you in on some bits. And I want to play this one. As you know from my conversations with Noel Wilcox about ULEZ, very big things are happening. Very big. Now, I want to tell you something right now. As you know, this is a multi-stage process and multi-stage legal process by which we're going to get to the bottom of this and get it sorted out. I now know what stage one is all about. I know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely massive. And I can't say anything now, but believe me, it will all come out very soon. And then everything else will follow. Noel is the real deal. He really is. And you need to take this seriously. For other ULEZ news, of course, please subscribe to the channel. There you go. Now, as you know, Noel Wilcox, and I interviewed him on this channel, is very much involved in getting ULEZ squashed. And there are several parts to this plan involving the first stage and then a second stage. I had a phone conversation with Noel the other day, Now, this can't be made public knowledge at the moment, but Noel has told me exactly what is going on and what position we're in at the moment. And if he pulls off what he's hoping will be pulled off, it will be massive. It will be all over the news. And I've seen the evidence to back it up as well. So I know what's going on in the background is true. I know what's going on in the background is massive. And I know what's going on in the background needs all the support. I can't say any more than that. I literally can't. One, I gave my word. And two, I could cause a lot of problems if I did. But let's just say it is exciting. Very, very exciting. If you believe that should be quashed. Now, let's go back and have a few more comments. Then we'll wrap things up. Theo Bovril. I wonder how the voting was rigged to put Farage third. No, we're never going to let him win. Never going to let him win. That was the thing. But I think he's done well. And I've read reports that people have seen another side. Pete, there was a Scottish police force that went electric but forgot to have the charging infrastructure installed. Jesus. I've never heard anything so daft. Corinna Jane, hello. Love the 90s. Life was so good back then. Yeah, I mean, I started secondary school in 1989, and the 90s were really like the back end of my childhood. I turned 20 years old in 1998. So yeah, it was different times, wasn't it? Yeah, and not the worries we have now. And it's our kids. It's our kids I do worry about with all this. Scotty J, do you think they will remove the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits in Wales? With what I see at the moment, no, I don't. And I do worry that if they get away with it there, they'll go everywhere else. Have you seen The Fall of Minnesota? It's an incredible documentary. No, absolutely average. I haven't. I know about it, but I haven't seen it. So one to add to my wish list. I like the shorts with the green back screen setup. Thanks, Anna. I've seen someone else say that as well. It just gives it a different vibe to the garage, really. That was the idea. I pop up on my phone every day. Glad to catch them. Thank you. Appreciate that. The Pentagon media calls Putin internationally isolated. Putin was greeted in the UAE and Saudi Arabia on his current Middle East visit. Some isolation, laughing at it. That's the thing. Over there he isn't. Over here he is. It depends what side of the iron wall you're sitting on. Chris Card, it's the fall of Minneapolis. Oh, okay. Okay. So I haven't heard of it. It's Minneapolis, not the other. Jason Hughes, also the people blocking the ULEZ vans are doing a fantastic job as well. I've seen some great footage of that. Somebody stuck I think it was a dildo on the lens of one of the cameras. That was funny. Last comment here, Peter, Scotty J, I'm in Cardiff. I think it's staying at 20 miles an hour, but next year they're planning to charge a fee for visitors. Oh my God, I have to watch out for that. It's all right, Russ. I got the error there, no problem at all. So that's great. Well, everybody, thank you, one and all, for a great live once again. We've got a good couple of hundred people in the chat here. Shared a few tidbits and information with you, and had a good old gas. And it's really great to see everybody once again. A couple of hundred of you in here. I always broadcast this across YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Pick people up from all the places, so it's good. If you haven't done so already, if you're on one of those platforms, follow along, give it a like or whatever it is on that platform, because I put stuff on those daily as well. On here every day, Monday to Friday. Got fresh content coming out tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock, another 4 videos for you. Make sure you follow those. I've taken some thanks, Stephen, appreciate it. I've taken some helpful advice and criticism from people about the way I've been doing things over the last little while, which I intend to put into practice, so that's all good. and really appreciate it. So what's left of your evenings, a couple of hours, thank you very much. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. And till then, toodaloo.